When you watch the movie The Godfather, you see many crime bosses, what they call the families, conducting themselves as legal thieves. As legal thieves, just like a Fortune 500 company, like Ford or Chrysler, like Burger King or McDonald's, like Merrill Lynch, Chase Manhattan, and getting away with it. And all they got to do is grease the hands of certain officials and police officers and politicians. The Godfather is an excellent, excellent movie. An excellent movie. But when I watch The Godfather and I compare organized crime yesterday to today, or what they perceive or they have indoctrinated you to believe as far as business of in the 50s, 40s, 30s compared to now, it was all thieves. But you could only steal and rob and lie and cheat and murder for so long before you fall. And when you watch the last episode of The Godfather, he met his fall, his demise. He met it. Michael Corleone, his daughter gets killed. He ended up having to kill Fredo, his brother. And that's where I see you so-called Negroes at today. This is where I see you at today. You have become comfortable in a world that's the white man's world. Like I said in past videos, America and the power and the stance of Esau is nothing but an extension of that fourth beast or that fourth piece of the puzzle, Rome. And you were never created to be successful in this setup. This is why I don't understand why you brothers is talking about running to Africa and building an empire of Israelites in Africa when all over the world, all over the planet, you see hell. I mean, turn on the news. How can you even consider such a foolish ideal when all you got to do is right now go and put on CNBC, put on Fox News, put on CNN, and you see all types of hell breaking out around the world. You see recession at the necks of every nationality in this country. You see inflation and high gas prices at the neck of every individual in this country. You see hell in America, but you have made your rest and yourself comfortable in America. And to the point you're even talking about moving abroad, and you want all these brothers to go abroad with you and become rich and follow Yah and open up fields that where you can plant vegetables and grow turnips, whatever you want to do. I just don't see the logic in that. I'm not saying don't try to do things. I'm saying when you get to the point where the world is on fire and the world is a cesspool of evil and you try to build on top of that, I just don't see that happening, especially if you're following scripture. I don't see that happening. I just don't see that happening. I just don't see that. It's just insane. Look at this. I found this. It says, Bureau of Justice special report, lifetime likelihood of going to state or federal prison. This is the state that we're in today. I was on Sonetta and them page, and they was talking about STEM, science and technology, math. These things are needed to get us out of our captivity or get us in a better place. And I just don't see that. I see that as a necessity, but I see spirituality and righteousness as the foundation of life. I believe that spirituality, the commandments of the Most High, and righteousness is the breath of life, is a direct connection to the Most High. Then everything else will follow through the wisdom of the Most High. But you actually have people trying to invest in a wicked system like America. And then they was taught, one brother yesterday, they was having a debate between STEM, should we go that route, or politics. You see politics is corrupt as hell. You can't even post a video up on Twitter without them shadow banning you or giving you a hard time. You can't even do that. You can't do that. This whole system is corrupt. And they talking about bringing black people, so-called black and Hispanics, back to politics. This is totally insane. Look at the Hunter Biden story, how Twitter hid the story. Hid the story so Trump would lose the election and Biden would become president. And that's at the top. But you got silly Negroes talking about STEM is going to get us out of our condition, not the Most High. STEM is going to get us out of our position. And science is going to make us better, but not righteousness and define morals and serve the Most High. It says, let me see, get that straight now. It says an estimate 5.1% of all persons in the United States will be confined in a state or federal prison during their lifetime. If incarceration rates recorded in 1901 remain unchanged in the future, the lifetime chances of a person going to prison are higher for men, 9.0%, than women, 1.1%. Higher for blacks, 16.2%, and Hispanics, 9.4%. There goes the Hispanics again. Everywhere we go, the Hispanics are right there behind us. It's not as high as so-called blacks, but I believe that's because Hispanics they're more family orientated than so-called Negroes. That's what I personally believe. Certain family structures are still instilled within their women, but that's depleting as we speak. But why the Hispanics always with us? You say the Hispanics are heathens. Why not Chinese right there with us? Why not East Indians right there with us? Why not Japanese right there with us? Why are these Hispanics always with us? Are these special heathens? Puerto Ricans? Are these glorious heathens? Dominicans? Why aren't the Hispanics mixing with the heathens like the Chinese, East Indians, and Africans? Why aren't they mixing with them? Why aren't they mixing with the Japanese? Why aren't they doing business and competing with the heathens? I asked a very serious question the other day to these Negroes on the House of Consciousness. I asked them, can they name me any company created by so-called black people that's thriving and competing with people outside of our people? In other words, can you show me a black company that has been set up from slavery to current, or from World War I or World War II to current, that can actually compete with the so-called white man, that's doing big business like a Fortune 500 company, like a Ford, or like a Chevy, or like an Apple, or like a Tesla? Can you show me that? Because according to scripture, the Lord said that we would borrow and the enemy, the heathens, would lend. According to scriptures, the Most High said that the enemy would be the head and we would be the tail. And this is supposed to go on till Christ comes back. So how are you talking about doing this and that in Africa and trying to build this big empire? How are you talking about science, in math, in arithmetic, in voting, in politics is going to get us out of our condition when the scriptures say opposite and they fit us to a T? That's what the scripture says. If I was to get another chart as far as divorce rates between so-called black men and black women, if I was to get another stat or pie chart in regards of, let me throw something out, unwed mothers, which is at 70 to 80% of women with children, 70 to 80%, 7 out of 10 don't have men in the household as fathers. When you read Deuteronomy, the scripture says that the man would be against the woman and the woman against the man, husband against wife, wife against husband, and the man would leave his children. It said that the woman would be evil to her man. No one fits that at such a higher percentage, such as so-called blacks and Hispanics. It exists among the other nationalities, but the curse fits us to the T. Fits us to the T. Look at this. Blacks at 28.5%, Hispanics at 16.0%. Then it says all males at 9.0%. I guess that's all. I don't know. And then it says here, white males at 4.4%. And they're the biggest criminals on this planet. White males. How did they get America? Criminal activity. South Africa, criminal activity. Australia, ripped off, robbed their Aborigines, criminal activity. I did a video some time ago. It showed that the very banks that you invest in, the very insurance companies that you take out policies with, had a foot and a hand or had a horse in the slave trade. In that race, the race of slavery, they had a horse in that race. In other words, they did big business and got rich off of slavery. Got rich off of what? Slavery. The blood, sweat, and tears of your forefathers. Again, this is not your rest. America is not your rest. It's a damn joke after a while, man. I don't know how anybody could be so damn stupid. I honestly don't know how anyone could be so stupid. Look at this one. Check this out. This is compared to the world's other most populous countries. It says the 2.2 million people currently incarcerated. Let me bring this down so you can see it better. It says compared to the world's other most populous countries, the 2.2 million people currently incarcerated in the U.S. is 153% higher than Russia, 5.5%. Higher than Brazil, 50%. Higher than India, 2,000 percent higher than Indonesia, Bangladesh, or Nigeria. But check this out. Out of all the countries with prisons, guess who's leading? America, one of the richest countries in the world. One of the richest countries in the world. The U.S. incarceration rate, the U.S. incarcerates at a rate of 4 to 7 times higher than other Western nations such as the United Kingdom, France, Italy, and Germany, and up to 32 times higher than nations with the lowest rates such as Nepal, Nigeria, and India. Why is that? Why is that? And who's filling these jails? So-called Negroes mainly. So-called Negroes and Hispanics are filling these jails. America is not your rest, and you have to get that in your head. You have to get that in your head. So you got these devils comfortable in robbing and stealing, but what's happening? The Most High is putting a stop to it. As we speak, the Most High is putting a stop to it and hammering on them with no mercy. And hammering on them with no mercy. This is what the Most High is doing. But you got so-called Negroes today who think that America is your rest and you're going to ride off into the sunset rich, prosperous, comfortable. You've totally lost your minds. You've totally lost your minds. Most High told us in the book of Deuteronomy that neither shall thou make marriages with them, meaning the heathens. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his sons, the heathens. This is mainly talking about Africans. But the same thing applies to the other heathens as well. Today, we just give our daughters and sons to the heathens. No question asked. We think it's a benefit and a plus to give our children over to the heathens. It says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his sons, nor his daughters shalt thou take unto thy sons. For they will turn away thy son. See this? This is what America has done to you. This is what being a degenerate has done to you. This is what the enemy's drugs has done to you. This is what the enemy's foods have done to us. I've heard this brother say this, and it kind of made sense. The food we eat today, our bodies weren't genetically made to eat these types of food in the Western world that we eat today. We had a completely different diet when we prior to slavery, when we had our own real estate, when we had our own agriculture, when we had our own lifestyles in the Most High. I don't believe pizza and hot dogs and burgers fit into our digestive system naturally. I think we have adopted after some time to the enemy's types of food. I think we have transitioned to digest that garbage, and this is why we have fibroids, our women, and cancer and breast cancer and all types of ailments that's plaguing us as a people now. This is why we have diabetes, high blood pressure. I personally believe that this is not our rest, and what we have made ourselves comfortable in is destroying and killing us every day, including associating in or joining ourselves in marriage to our enemies. Most High says in the 4th verse, for they will turn away thy son from following me, to me being the Most High, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy you suddenly. And this is where we at now. This is where we are now. 6th verse says, 6th verse real quick, Deuteronomy 7 verse 6 says, for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people. See that? We are a special people unto himself. We're special in the eyes of the Most High. But in America, we're ninjas and whores and clowns. We're entertainers. We're beastly. We're drug addicts. We fill the prisons. This is not our rest. But in the eyes of the Most High, we're special. It says, for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Above all people that are above the face of this earth. That's what the Most High is saying. We are above all people who are on this earth. But if that's the case, why do we fill the jails like we do? Why are so-called blacks at 28.5% and Hispanics at 16.5% in the jails? Meanwhile, white people are at 14 such and such percent. Why is that? If the Most High said we're special in his eyes, shouldn't we be special in the eyes of our enemies? Shouldn't we be special in the eyes of the so-called white man, Chinese, East Indians, and Africans? Shouldn't we be? Correct me if I'm wrong. If you look in this picture, I can't really tell, but all the way in the back left, with the white shirt and the black pants, who is that? That looks like a ninja N-word Cuban back there. If you watch the movie, I gotta go and watch the movie again. But am I right or wrong? Is that a damn slave ninja in the damn back? Meanwhile, these guys are stealing, robbing, and getting rich. And the Most High said, you're special in his eyes. You the apple of his eye. Yet in America, or wherever you go, you're the borrower, you're not the lender, like I mentioned earlier. Your family structure is destroyed. That's according to scriptures, like I mentioned earlier. And you can't compete business-wise with anybody or any nationality on this planet. That's also a curse, or one of 3 curses I mentioned earlier. I don't know. Just something to think about. But every organization falls apart at some point. In other words, the mafia itself had a clean, organized structure in how they operated and how they became rich. But when the elders died off, they're very sloppy now. Discipline is a key factor to keep any organization going. And that's what happened to us. We were once disciplined, focused, locked into the Most High. And what happened? We fell to the point where the enemy now rules over us. Don't tell me I'm wrong. You have on YouTube ex-gangsters, ex-mafias doing YouTube videos, telling on each other, acting savage among each other. Look it up. Every dog has its day. It's going to be a beautiful day when this is all destroyed. It's going to be a lot of suffering and heartache and pain, but it's going to be a beautiful day when all of this is destroyed. The same way what's at the top falls to the bottom, the Most High has it that what was once a glorious people and structure, it has to be set back up. And that's biblical scripture. The same way we're special in the eyes of the Most High, one day the heathen will look at us as special people like their forefathers once did, when we walked in pride and dignity and righteousness. Right now, we're just clowns and watch my words, man, to YouTube. Right now, we're just clowns and the joke of the planet, man. So jails will continue to grow in population. And America will continue to fall. And at some point, the Most High will step in. He's stepping in now. We just got to step up. I'm out.